Well, welcome to session 2, engagement, creating meaningful strategic touch points. We all talk about in our course, it's all about generating leads, creating cash flow, and building a thriving community. So always keep that in mind. But in session 2, we're going to dive into really the engagement and the influence. We're going to talk about learn to shift transactional mindset to a strategic engagement, tactical versus strategic engagement. We're going to understand how inviting key contacts to your podcast as your podcast guests and building a digital asset, co-creating a digital asset because people buy from people. And we're also going to discover the power of elevating others as experts and that reciprocal and trust bond that happens with the system you're learning. Okay, we have some activities to do, but we'll get that in just a second. So remember, we talked about it. People buy from people. People buy from people. We've shifted through social media evolution in the last 10 years, that people connect with people online. So you always got to think online. We're in a digital revolution. If you're not building your profile online, you're missing opportunity. So people buy from people. They don't buy from companies. That's why when you think about the people you know. You don't sometimes even know their companies, but you know the person. Oprah, she probably has a dozen companies, but you know her. Joe Rogan does a bunch of things, but you know him. Elon Musk, bunch of companies, but you know him. Tim Cook, I mean, he's Apple, but he has a bunch of things going, but you know him. And he's stepping up. Brendan Bouchard, he's all over, but you know him. You know him. He's a performance, a strategic coach. He certified me. He's founder of the High Performance Institute, written High Performance Habits, The Charge, and Motivation Manifesto, and other books. He's the best, and he has a community of strivers through Growth Day. Okay, let's get into session 2, because this is a critical session to understand. So I want you to put everything aside, because what we're doing is we're building this. We're building our 12 strategic categories. And when we go out in the marketplace, we're not trying to sell anybody. You're trying to build strategically relationships, because in your 12 categories, and we talked about your reputation wheel, you filled out this. Now you're going out there with precision to find key people. Now, you already know and have done business with, because you know, like, and trust people that have touched your business. Because if you're not understanding the critical elements, let me see if I can go to this, that leads change lives. Let me get this thing. Nope, that didn't work. There we go. Leads change lives. If you're not generating leads, you're not going to have a business. You certainly won't generate cash flow, and you won't build a thriving community. So you have to think strategically when you're out there, when you're looking in. So your first column should be pretty easy. These are people you've done business with. Now, we're going to talk in the next session about the invitation, and we're going to get into the building of why podcasting with a purpose is going to help you build your strategic mastermind team. once you build this, once you implement it, once you put it in an actual digital asset, a magazine, then the wind's going to be behind your sails because you're going to sail like you've never sailed before. There's a concept, and let me see if I can go to it. I think I have it on here. Yeah, I think I do. Nope, it's behind this one. Okay, let me do this. Let me keep that up there and let me see if I can find it. Yes. Okay, here it is. The bamboo parable challenges us to stay focused and retain steadfast in our belief in what we're doing in the absence of immediate results. What is immediate results in what we're talking about here is one client, one person trying to sell when you're out there networking, when you're out there meeting people. That's immediate, instant gratification. Oh, I got a sale. Woo, woo, whoopee, whoopee doo. But let's look at the parable of bamboo. It takes 8 years before it breaks ground. If you're out there, it's not going to take 8 years to build your team, but understand delayed gratification. What you're doing is you're putting them on as guests on your podcast. You're creating a digital asset. Now, is it slower than just selling one person? Yes. But you're looking at thousands of leads, thousands, because once your team is together and you're working together and you're a mastermind of leads flowing, then that bamboo has broken ground, and that the rest of it grows like 2 feet a day. Hear me, 2 feet a day. After 8 years of breaking ground, and then it's going to grow 2 feet a day. Is that crazy? And that's what your business could be like if you do it correctly, if you do it strategically, if you build that digital asset, if you create that reciprocal trust agreement, not agreement, relationship. Because when you put your 12 categories together, and let's say you can put these down pretty quick. The second, which is your walk, or we call silver, is maybe the second person in your category. Maybe you're not as developed in that category, and you got to go out there looking for that person. What you're looking for is people that want to make a difference, people that are givers, people who make an impact, people that are strivers, people that are just not looking for one sale. They're looking for a relationship for a lifetime. And when you can establish relationships strategically for a lifetime, that's when your bamboo grows 2 feet a day. When those leads just keep coming in because you've nurtured these relationships, you've built together a digital asset because you're shining on your guest, you're elevating their story, and together you're creating an asset. And when you do that, everybody wins. When you do that in such a way strategically, we're going to teach you how to invite people onto your podcast, what it's like in the pre, during, and after. There's a whole process that we teach you. And we're going to get into it more in session 3. But let's go dig deeper into designing what you're going to say. And I'll just give you we have other scripts, but here's just a sample. Have anybody ever shared with you the concept that people buy from people? No, yeah, kind of, sort of. They don't buy from companies. They connect with your story. I bet you have a great story to share with my community. You wait, and if they acknowledge you, invite them to be a guest on your podcast. But if they could care less about what you're talking about, they're not the person you want to invite. Maybe they're not ready. Maybe they're what we call a shark that's always looking to get something. You're giving them a gift to share their story. If they don't recognize that, they're not ready. So when people recognize that, you'll know it. And it just happened this morning for myself. Because if a person isn't wanting to share their story, isn't wanting to put themselves out there, if they're letting fear, oh, what if I say the wrong thing? I'll say, what if you do? Are you speaking from the heart? Because if you're speaking from the heart, there's nothing wrong with anything you say. We're not like 60 Minutes trying to capture that gotcha moment. That's not the way we operate. We're building relationships through storytelling, through sharing the guest story with our community, connecting them to people in our community. And when we create a digital profile and they see the vision of why a digital profile is so critical to your success today, because it's global. People could be listening to this halfway around the world. Used to be local. We did business within 5-10 miles of where we set our anchor. Now it's global. That's why creating a digital asset with a podcast is you're acting local, but you're thinking global. Think local, think global. Because when you create that asset, it's out there. Because people have to get to know you, like you, and trust you. And if they can't do that in a digital form, we call it the 7-11-4. We'll get into that in another session. But they have to have something to get to know you. And if they listen to your podcast, they're getting to know you. And the more content, the more of a profile you put out there, you allow people to get to know you, like you, and trust you. So it's critical that you build this. Build this 12 categories, 3 in each. This is could you have 4 in each? Good. Could you have 2 in one and 4 in the other? Yes. I am a little OCD, but I'm not saying you have to have a perfect 36, 3 in each category. It's a framework. Maybe you've been in business for quite a few years and your customer base is robust. Well, when you put a category of clients, maybe you could put 10 in that category. And if that's the case, that's great because they know you, they like you, they trust you. Now you're just putting them together in a magazine. This is a digital asset. These are the stories that we take from our podcast. We put them in a printed magazine. And when they're in the magazine, they can be shared, both digitally and analog, print. So when we're working together for 12 weeks and we're covering and building that team because we select 20 out of your 36 to go on this 12-week transformation. And when they go on that transformation, they're understanding strategic relationship. They're understanding 12 categories. They're understanding you have first category is your know, like, and you've done business with, you're crawling. Those are the easy ones. Easy to crawl, tougher to start to walk if you're a child in your business. Walk. That's your second tier. Then your third tier is when you're running because you have people, you've built a 3 depth in that category. And so you're inviting 20 of these 36 to be in this magazine because leads is life. If you do not have a leads strategy, you're not going to generate cash flow and you don't have a thriving business or community. It's all about relationships. It's all about you stepping up and building this right here. And in our course, you'll be able to download these. You'll be able to get further understanding because we're going to have a podcast invitation template. You'll have a guest experience flow map, and you'll have a weekly engagement tracker because you're inviting people to be on the podcast. When you're inviting them, you're creating that co-asset, that digital asset. You're shining on them, their story. Because a lot of my first-time guests on my podcast have never been on a podcast. They don't know what it's like. They don't know that the world changed from local to global. We're all busy. We don't see these trends until they're obvious. But you're helping them change this mindset, and understand: act local, think global. Act local, think global. A digital asset is a global strategy. When you can share your team, their story, people get to know them. People get to know you better because you're creating, and I like to give people an example here. When you do a one-on-one and you do it in a restaurant, when it's over, it's over. You don't have anything. You don't have an asset that you created. You took an hour when you could do a digital asset in 25 minutes. That's the average of what our first-time guests are. Then that's an asset out there that you created. You make money by creating assets. Your assets are your intellectual properties. Your assets are your podcasts. Your assets are your online courses. Your assets are your books, your workbooks, your magazines. Those are assets. You're creating those. We're born to create. When we create, our heart fills up. We get excited. That's why we talk about the energy that you have, the influence that you can have by putting this together. So, to sum it up, crafting your outreach message will help you with that. But you're discovering the power of elevating others as the expert, their story on your podcast. We help you do that. You can focus on one thing: creating assets. You're going to generate leads, create cash flow, and build a thriving community. Every single person that is a guest on our podcast in our community gets stronger because it's relationships. We introduce people. We have virtual events, live events, workshops, webinars, Wednesday Connects. We have all these to build our community, and you can be a part of it. So, all right, we have our next session is going to be on collaboration from content to connection. Collaboration from content to connection. Let me see if I have anything here for us. I'm going to bring the parable of, there we go. Nope, I can't get it up. Oh, there we go. There we go. The parable of the bamboo. Thank you, Crystal Duke, for sharing it with me. 8 feet a day. 8 feet before it breaks ground. 8 years before it breaks. Feet, years. Okay. 8 years before it breaks ground, and then it can grow up to 2 feet a day. That's your business. You can grow 2 feet a day. You can, if you're strategically building those relationships, building those assets, implementing the relationship wheel. And I don't think we have it. Yes, I do. I think I do. Oh, no. I thought I did, but I didn't. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Okay. There's the relationship wheel. Your network is your single biggest, most valuable asset. Build it strategically. Okay. Be bold, make a difference, and have an impact. And while I'm talking to you, join our community, our Growth Day community. Just try it for 7 days. This will help you grow. When you're growing, your business is growing. When you can get Brenda Bouchard to talk to you each day and do the 5 to Thrive, you're on your way to creating a most incredible mindset of growth because you're around people that are growing. You're around strivers and you do the 5 to Thrive. 2 thought-provoking questions, a related video, and Brendan giving you a framework of coaching. He's currently coaching 4 billionaires. You could be coached by him. Try it for 7 days. And then send us a support ticket at pkane.me. I'll send you my free course, Mindset, Goals, and Habits. Till our next session, be bold.